Hello to all my YouTube crafty friends out there. This is Monica from MMBW Crafts, and I want to finish off this little mouse. So I've done two of the mice, and I've modified some of the changes as I've been going through them. Now, I did a video which was a bit of a, not a disaster. I mean, it was actually quite a good video, but the only thing is you couldn't see my hands. My hands were doing all the work out here, and of course you couldn't see it. So what you will notice here is there's a line around there, so that's where I have to focus. So I've lined that up with the camera, and hopefully this will work. You know, I'm still learning about this technological world of cameras and videos and goodness knows what. So so this is where we're currently working. I'll just show you my other two little mice that I have completed, well, except for the clothes. So this was mouse number 1. So I'll just move those out of the way. So this was mouse number 1, and very, very cute, I thought. So this is where I was having some problems with him, right? So that's mouse number 1. This here is mouse number 2. Okay, so you will notice a difference in that this little fella, the second little mouse, has got buttons there and his legs can move. I mentioned in the other video where I wasn't, again, I'm not in focus, where I wasn't in camera, that it was very clunky trying to get the legs sewn on. So I really struggled with that. So so I decided to do like getting a cord all the way through and joining the legs that way and the arms. So you can actually move the arms and the legs. And I've got these tiniest little buttons I've ever seen. And look, they're looking quite well. The only thing is the buttons up here is a bit too high, but look, that's okay. I mean, this one is going to have probably a top on or a dress, so you're probably not going to see that. So so that's the second little mouse, and there's 6 mice in this project. So that's 2 of them. Some of the changes I've made, I've put a little ribbon bow on the end of each of their tails. And I'll do the matching bow up here on the top of their head. Now where the, so up here, where they've, in the pattern, they've got a felt ribbon, and I think it absolutely takes over the head. So, so I wasn't too impressed with that. So I've made subtle changes. Other changes that I've made is the head. So this is the new head. This hole here, is the hole to attach the neck. But tell me, where's the neck? I searched and searched and there was no neck piece in the pattern. So that is supposed to go in there, and you know, I don't know how I could do that. So what I did was I actually got excuse me, a little bit of what you call it, pipe cleaner, and I stuck the pipe cleaner in here, folded it, and then closed it all up and secured the pipe cleaner, and then the pipe cleaner very nicely slid into the head, just like that. So so that's where I'm up to in the third mouse. Now when I was doing the third mouse, I'd actually started to do the video, and that's the one where I was out here and I was talking about what I was doing, and this is a satin stitch and this is a running stitch and so on. And of course you guys couldn't see it. So I've ditched that video and I've come back. So I had actually done this part in the other video. So what I will do is I will now do the other side of the whiskers and the eye. Now you could at this point do the mouth, But you have to, if you can see, there's a bit of just a little turn up there. I'll see if I can make this a bit bigger for you to see. You can see the way the mouth curls up and then the mouth curls up. So it's actually making like it's not meeting directly. So in each of these mice that I've made, you can see I've just gone over it. So so you can make it even. So that's why it's important to wait until the head is all constructed before doing the mouth and obviously the nose. Okay, but I have stitched around here. You can see my stitches all the way around, and I'll show you how I've done that in regards to I've done the body. I'm just in the process of stuffing the body. Okay, and also in that video I mentioned that I actually do some felt work with it. So felting is using this very, very fine, you can hardly see it, but they're like little burrs on the end of this felting needle, and you don't want to get your fingers caught. And just holding your the neck open, well, what is of a neck, and just gently pushing. And what that is doing is actually making the felt, which is very, very loose fibers like this, it's actually connecting them all. So you've got for a firmer body. So, and it actually reduces the bulk quite considerably when you've actually done it with all of your, with them all. So it takes a lot more felt. Oh, I just prodded myself. I told you not to do that. So it's a matter of just oh look, see, I'm not keeping within my square. So you just keep prodding and prodding and prodding until you're ready to add in the next piece. So I'll add in the next piece, and I add them in small little pieces like that because he's only a small little dude. So you put it in like that, squash it down as best you can, okay, and then start compressing. And you will see in a minute, and how quickly it happens, that it will compress quite considerably. Now, you don't have to do this. I did it with my 12 Days of Christmas with my ladies, and because they had skirts, and it actually helps to keep the skirts, you know, coming out. So, and I also did it to Mrs. Claus and her dress, and it makes a big difference, I think. But so you can see how that's all compressed. You just walk around like that, but again, watch your fingers, because you can get a very nasty prod. Now with needle felting, I like a bit of needle felting, and I've actually got a needle felter machine, and I've got all of this merino wool in different colors, and I need to know what I can do with it. So if there's anybody out there with a felting machine or felting sticks, needles, please let me know. It does come with, my felting does come with quite a number of different size needles. This is Mrs. Claus, and you will see her skirt and the way it's actually bloused out. So when you look at her that way, it actually looks like she's got a full skirt. So, and that's because I've needle felted the wool up the top. I didn't go obviously the full length of the skirt because that would have been a bit too much. She'd probably break the Christmas tree if we were to do that. So it's just a nice way. There's no instructions to do this. But again, it's just my own take on it. Okay, so I've also just completed, well, I have to just put the seeds on, Santa's new coat. So that'll be another video coming soon. Okay, so my needle felting stuff, what have I done with it? But it's actually comes with 4 different types of ways of, and they're very, very easy to attach. So you just screw that off, which is the end, and you just put in here your needle. Now you can actually put in 3 needles into this one, and I know I've got another needle here because I nearly prodded myself with it while I was getting ready. So you just put the needle in there like that, okay, and then you screw it up and you've got 2 needles. Okay, so but a very, very good way, I believe, of felting. And even though it's not required, but I don't want you all running out and buying felting equipment. I use this in quite a lot of my projects where I need to bed down the fluff or the wadding or the, what is it, polyfill or whatever it is. And it works with pure wool and it works with polyfill, because this is only a polyfill, I think, that I've got here. So so yes, you have to go all the way down like that, and then you can add in the next piece. So it actually does feel quite firm to the touch when I press it like that. So it just adds a little bit more to your project. And I don't know about you guys, but when I'm doing a project, I like to give it my all. I like to make it as best I possibly can. Normally I've got somebody in mind for it, and but with these mice, unfortunately, I don't. I'll probably put them on the Christmas tree, and come Christmas time I might give them out to people, you know, because they're a lovely little thing to hang on your tree. I also want to figure out a way of putting my name on it. Now this is the picture of the little dudes, the little mice. So and I'm just looking at them, and there's really nowhere, unless I put it on the back of the head. I just want to put an MW just to say that this is me, and maybe the year, so 24. So I'll have a think about that. I am going to do that with all my Bucilla stockings, because time runs away, and you know, I've made a lot of Santa sacks for the kids, and previously I made them stockings not as intricate as the Bucilla, but certainly I've made everyone's stockings, and I started this off probably about 15 years ago. We just put little trinkets into it. We've stopped that because it got really, really expensive, but I want to do it in a very informal way. So and that means I'm going to keep all the stockings when I do a Bucilla, because knowing my great nieces and nephews, the poor old stocking will be on the end of a bike and it'll be going down the road for a jaunt. So so I'm just going to put a little bit more into this, and then what I'll do is I will show you how to do the stitching, because you would have missed that because it was all in the other video where I was talking away to my hands and not to all you friends out there. So I've had a few text messages from people and messages from people. One lady is in Canada. I think it was Ontario, Canada. So so she's joined and subscribed, so welcome. Let me know your names, because sometimes when I see it on an email, it can be some sort of a cryptic name and you can't figure it out what it is. So I'd love to be able to hear from you. If there's anything that you would like me to see, like me to show you how to do, remembering all the things that I do is felt work, cross stitch. What else have I got? Bucilla, a lot of Bucilla. Slow stitching. Do people know what slow stitching is? So slow stitching is when you just mindlessly sew stitches. Excuse me. I'll just have a drink of water. Yes, you just mindlessly sew stitches, and you might applique a beautiful piece of fabric. The fabric may have belonged to someone in your family. It might be just your favorite piece of fabric, and so on and so forth. So, oh, I just stabbed myself. See, I'm bleeding. So you have to be very careful. See, I'm just talking too much. So I'm going to leave that like that, because I'll go and I'll show you the stitches. But that's getting nice and full now. And I'm going to wipe off this blood so it doesn't get onto my project. It's only a little drop. I'm not going to die this week. So I'll put that aside, and I'll put his head aside. Okay. I'm sort of getting a bit like my camera's moving. So I've got that, and I've got that. Now the other things, remembering, guys, that this centerpiece here was the gusset. So this piece here. So that was the gusset that looked a bit like a surfboard. And I thought originally, why are they giving mice surfboards? So anyway, that's what goes in, and it joins the back, and it gives you the space to be able to put on the legs. Okay, so I'll put that aside. I'll put that aside. So that's his head. Then we've got his little ears. You should have two of those ears. Where's the other ear? There's a little pink thing there. So there's his two ears. Okay, so they go that way. So they're sort of looking a bit... Oh, where are we? See, I have moved the camera. Maybe because I've got it on big. Okay, so there's the two little ears. 1, 2. 2 legs. 1, 2. 2 little legs. How come I've got a third leg? No, something is wrong. Why have I got a third leg? I've got one arm and another arm. I had obviously started to cut out because I've also got another leg. Maybe he's the three-legged mouse. And an arm. I had obviously started to cut out another mouse. Okay, so we've got the head, the body, the arms, the legs, and the ears. Okay, so with the ears, I have forgotten, and they need to go in there. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to undo a couple of stitches and there, and slip in the ears. So I'll do that. I thought I'd actually stitched those ears down, but obviously I haven't. Okay, so I'll just... Whoops, drop me glue. You don't want to drop your glue. So we've got that, and we've got that. So what I'll do is I'll start off with the leg. So this leg, and I'll show you how I do what they refer to as applique stitch. I sort of call it a bit of a whip stitch, because you're actually just joining the two pieces together. I'm using this cotton. It's 647 with from DMC, and I'm just going to use that. I didn't use the cotton that they had. I thought it was a bit too grey. So and I'm only using one strand to join it. Okay, so I'm just going to grab one strand. Okay, and I'll just leave that there because I'm going to need it again way too soon. So I'm going to look for my needle. Now you think I would have had this all sort of ready, wouldn't you? Well, nah, not me. My poor little dog is not well, and he was supposed to be groomed this morning, and I had to cancel the grooming because he's got an ulcer on his eye. He was a little rescue dog, and his name was Chico. And I didn't like the name Chico because it reminds me of a Chico roll. And there's a chocolate bar out now that's called Chico. So I didn't quite like that name. So I've changed his name to Cooper. So poor old Cooper is not the best. They've told me he's got dementia. And they've also told me he's blind in one eye, that he had cataracts. Then when I went back, they told me, no, he hasn't got cataracts, he's got an ulcer. So I felt very, very bad because the poor little pet was in pain. So I've been putting eye drops on him, and hopefully that will all help improve. Now I've just raised this up so you can see. See, I'm getting good with videos, haven't I? Now, normally when I start off with my stitching, I go directly opposite the stitch. So here's the first stitch, which I hid the knot in the felt, okay? So then I go directly opposite, right, the stitch, and I come out, and that's always for the first one. So you'll see that stitch is actually catching both layers of the felt. So the second stitch I go in, and then I go probably about 1 millimeter to the right. Okay, so I'm going in at an angle, but I'm going to be coming out straight. So this one, I go directly opposite, and a little bit up. Okay, so you'll see my stitches are straight on. Now, people might like to see their stitches at an angle. This is just the way that I like to do it. Go in and a little bit to the right. And that gives you, again, the straight stitch. I think the straight stitch looks easy. It looks nice. And in. I'm trying to make sure. Oh, I've got a hairy arm. I was thinking, where's all that hair coming from? My arm. Okay, so again, I'm going to go in and around. In and over. In and over. These only take 5 minutes to do. Which meant I thought I was going to get all the mices done in an hour. But nah. I have wishful thinking. That. In and that. Yeah, so I'd like to hear from people. I would like to know what sort of crafts you get into. Do you like Bucillas only, or do you like slow stitching? Do you like cross stitch? Are you quilters? I'll have to show you. I've picked up my beautiful quilt. I think I showed you in a different video earlier on, and it was for my friend who lost her daughter. And I'll have to get that out and show you because it's come back from the quilter. Kate Hansen is the quilter, and we're really good friends. And I said to Kate, would you mind very much if I show the finished product. So it's only finished to the quilting. It hasn't, I need to get the binding on it. And she says, no, not at all. She would gladly let me show her work. But she is a beautiful quilter. And she's here in Epping. So she's just got a name for her business, and it's called The Finishing Touch, or Finishing Touch, I think it is. So if anybody out there in the northern suburbs in particular are interested in getting a quilt quilted, she is very, very good, and she's got a very quick turnaround. I think I got mine back within the week. I got my quilt back. Okay, so you can see now the effect that all of those stitches are having. They're straight on, and I think it adds to the effect. It looks, to me, it looks quite good. In and around. Yeah, today in Melbourne it's a very well, it's not cold. Yesterday was a beautiful day. Sun was shining, and all last week it's been lovely. But today, well, it started raining probably about 7 o'clock last night, but it was a very light rain, and it just rained all night. But it was a very soft, light rain, really, really good for the gardens. And but it's actually got a bit of a chill with it as well. So we're not quite in summer yet, but we are getting there. So okay, so I'm going to stop there, right? Because I need a space to put my stuffing in. Okay, so I've gone all the way around, and I'm pleased with the way it's looking. So I've probably left myself a little bit too little space, so I can only use small pieces of stuffing. Okay, so can I get that in there? Where there's a will, there's a way. That's what I always say. So just a little bit about myself. I was born in Ireland many, many years ago. Actually, I'm 67, so I was born in 1957. Get in there. For goodness sake. Can't be all that hard. Okay, what's the tool I need? Here we are. I try this. I did leave it a bit too short, the hole. So I'll just go in like that. Open it up. Just like that. And try again. Yeah, so I was born in Ireland, and I came out to Australia in 1972, and I have two brothers, and my mum and dad have both passed away, so sadly. My mum and I were best friends, and my dad was a very, very good provider. He died very young with cancer. He was only 57 when he passed. So, you know, that's not right. That a person, you know, passes away like that. But we did get to bring him back to Ireland for a visit. All his brothers, he's got quite a large family. He has 7 brothers and 3 sisters. So, and his dad. No, his dad was gone at the time. So it was lovely. We went back, but unfortunately his health deteriorated while we were over there, and he spent most of his time in the hospital. So that was very, very sad in itself. But he got to see all his brothers and sisters, and he passed away 2 years later. So, but and my mum passed away with complications to diabetes. So yeah, so that's just a little bit about my family. So I love Australia. Australia is my home, and it will be forevermore. But I'd like to go home to Ireland for a visit. I've got cousins in Ireland, and unfortunately, a lot of because of the timing, the time of all my aunts are passed away, and I think I've only got one living aunt on my mum's side and two on my dad's, and two of my dad's own brothers are still with us. So, but because of their ages, they're hitting the deck, I suppose. There's going to be one hell of a hoolie up in heaven when each of them go up there, because my dad will make sure that they've got a good time. Now that's pretty well stuffed in a good way, and I'm now going to continue stitching around. So I'm just going to drop that back a bit. Yeah, so life is too short, I say, and but family is very, very important. I love my family, and they're very supportive of me doing these videos, which is great. So that's it about me. But I've only just got into craft probably in the last 8 years, 5 to 8 years. Probably the last 2 years I've actually went in gun-ho with it. And I was actually in hospital, and I was watching some YouTubes because I hate watching television. So I love YouTubes, and I was watching some YouTubes on crafts, of course, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, some of the YouTubes out there I really questioned, and but everyone was giving it a go, which is great. And I'm thinking, I can do that. I can do that. That looks easy. So I got onto YouTube. How do I set up a YouTube channel? Set it up in 8 easy steps. So that's that finished. So that's quite thick enough, I think. So that will join with that. Okay, and we're starting to look at the mouse having legs. Now, where's his other legs? Ah, it must have been these. Oh, Shmanica, you're silly. And I've got one arm. Oh, and that's so stupid me. This is that one that I thought I had cut out. Another one is actually the same mouse. So there you go. So that's the two arms. Forgot you had to have two sets. And here is in the other set of legs. Now I'm going to go from there to there this time. I'm going to make sure I leave quite a decent space. I'm going to rethread my needle because that's not going to do it. Yeah, so I had a little shop, and it was called the Cozy Corner Irish Cafe here in Melbourne in Vic Bundura, and next door to me was Kate. She had Kate's Sewing Centre, and we became very good friends. And she used to do a class I think it was every Monday night in those days. It's now on a Tuesday. And she asked me if I would like to join her class, because one of the ladies had gone overseas for 6 weeks. So I says, yeah, I'll do that. I wouldn't mind. Can learn a few things. Well, I got in there and I wasn't going to leave. So when our friend returned from overseas, I says, I'm sorry, you're not coming back here. Because Kate's training room was very, very small. And it really only sat about 6 people. So I said, no, not going anywhere. I'm staying here. So we ended up, I mean, I was doing it all in fun, and we ended up getting another way of getting another chair in. So I stayed. And we're now called Bobbins. So there's 8 of us all together, including Kate. And we just sit together, we chat, and compare our projects. We used to all bring our sewing machines, but I'm sure you guys out there know how hard it is carrying sewing machines and equipment like that. I certainly can't. But so a lot of us have now turned to stitchery. Bucilla. Oh, someone will bring in a new Bucilla kit, and I'll say, "Oh, I need to get that. I need to get that." So so it's good fun. We've got a lot of respect for each other, and we support each other, and we just enjoy. We have a cup of tea. It's only for 2 hours on a Tuesday night, and the majority of the ladies have now retired. So but we talk about our home life, our problems, our issues, you know, and they're all very understanding and like to share. So so that's I really enjoy that. I love them a Tuesday night. It was I couldn't go nearly all of winter because of my health, but and it's just because it was so cold, and I'm very susceptible to catching colds and flus and COVID. So it didn't really help me when stayed home and got COVID. So I ended up in hospital for about 10 days. But it's all good now. So yeah, so I look forward to my Tuesday. I also belong to another crafting group called the Blue Gummers. And that's a stitching group. And we meet once a month on a Saturday. And it goes from 10 until about 4. And we really enjoy each other's company. I've only been there for one month. I've only just joined. It's a type of group that they have a limit, and you basically have to wait for someone to die to get a place because nobody leaves. So so that's really good. So I was doing my hand stitching, and I was doing my Bucilla, I think, and yeah, so I go to that once a month on a Saturday. I think it's the first Saturday in every month. And then once a month on a Sunday, I go to another group, and it's called JJ's Crafts, and that's up at Whittlesea. So and that's another group that I go to, you know. So they're quite reasonable, and you get to see other people's, you know, work and that, you know, so it's actually quite good. Sometimes I like my isolation. I like to be on my own because I've got this lovely area down here at the end of my house, and it's my sewing studio, and yeah, I like being here, and I don't even have a radio on, and I'm just in my own little place. But you need to be able to share. You need to be able to see what the work of other people, so that you can see if that's something you'd like to do. I was, and when I went to the Blue Gummers, was my first time, and there was this dear old lady, and I went around and introduced myself and looked at what they were doing, because they were all doing something very, very different. A lot doing quilts, quilt of the month, and they'll actually do the block on that particular Sunday or Saturday, sorry. And there was this darling little lady, and I think she was in her 90s, and she's been there for as long as that group has been running, which is probably about 30 years. And I went over to her and I introduced myself, and I says, and what's your name? And she couldn't remember. The poor darling has got Alzheimer's. And she said to her friend who was sitting next to her, what's my name again? I thought, oh, you poor darling. Anyway, she's sitting there, and she used to be the most beautiful embroiderer. She did beautiful work in her life. And she had hexes. So all these hexes were sitting there. And I says, oh, I love hexes. And all she was doing, the sweetheart, was just putting them in order. And then she'd put them in another order. And regardless of where this darling lady lives, every month, one of the people from the group pick her up and take her home. And she lives quite a fair way away, so from the group. So I thought that is absolutely beautiful, because she may very well not know her name, but she knows everybody that's there. So God love her, she's enjoying doing what she can do. And all I can think of is, if that was me in that situation, I would hope that somebody would come and pick me up and take me to where I'm, my special place. So so that was lovely to be able to see her, and she would rearrange her hexes, and they weren't even sewn, they were just glue based. But she had about 50 of them, and she'd put them one way, and then she'd turn around and put them another way. And I thought, well, that is very, very good therapy for that darling lady. So okay, so I've filled that leg. So as you can see, it happens very, very quickly. So as you can see, I'm just going in opposite this stitch here, right? I'm just going in and bringing it out at an angle. So that's the way my needle is. It's coming out at an angle, and it just moves, and the stitch goes straight on. Again, I'll see if I can bring this up. Okay. Again, I just go in opposite the stitch. So there's the stitch, right? So opposite the stitch, but I'm going to go in at an angle and come out and pull it in at an angle and out. And that was a lot easier to stuff at that time. So in at an angle and out. In at an angle and out. In at an angle and out. And then the last stitch. I might just do 2 stitches there, and then I'll do a knot. I'll do the knot. So this is how I do a knot. So you've got the loop. I just go in through the loop and pull. Okay, so that was that. I'll show you that again, because I don't know whether I was on camera. So you go in, you come out, the loop, this loop here, I just go into the loop, whoops, like that, and I pull it tight like that. Okay, so that's leg number 2 done. Isn't that good that we found out that he has 2 legs? So there's his head, there's that, there's one leg, and there's another leg. Oh, he's getting excited. And then what I'll do is I'll show you how I made his tail. The tail is cording. And cording, I'm just going to bring us back. Cording is sort of a funny thing. It took me a while to be confident with cording, and I still sometimes struggle with it, but I've got better now. That bit of cotton there, as you can see, it's not an awful lot. I'm not going to risk. They might be okay for the ears, so I'll put that there, maybe use that for the ears, but not for the leg or the arms. Okay, so one strand, knot at the end, like that. Pull it tight. So there's my little knot. Okay, and make sure you've got the two right ends together. So the right ends, so we've got the small end, and that looks a bit bigger. Small end. Okay, so the small end is the part that goes to the back. See here? This was the first dude I did when I didn't do the button. Okay, and the small end. So is his hand. Okay, so I hope you can see that. So the small end is the hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go around there to about there, and then I'll have this end for stuffing. Okay. Again, I like to bury my knot, so I'm going to go in there, and bye-bye, knot is gone. No knots. Okay, so in, twist, and out. In, twist, and out. Now the other pattern I've got is the gingerbread houses. So I'm going to be doing that next. After I've done this video on these little mice, I'll look at the house, because there's a lot of detail on the house, and there's also cardboard that you fit into the house. Now I'm doing Twas the Night Before Christmas with Craft, and they actually have a beautiful little house, and it's based on the story All Through the Night, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. So I'm going to be doing that, and I bought some card. It's a felted card for that particular task. So I'm going to use that for my gingerbread houses, just to see, because it actually says to stuff the houses, and I'm not. There's 4 little houses. I mean, they're only a small size. They're not huge, but I don't fancy stuffing them. Because they might go out of shape and all that sort of stuff. So I'll show you the product that I bought, and which I bought for the MMBW, that's me, MMM Craft. I'll show it to you, and oh, I was supposed to stop, wasn't I? And then I will give you the brand. One thing. Give you the brand. Okay, so now I've opened up this. This is his little arm, and I'm just going to, because it's so little, I can only do little pieces in at a time. So push that down. In you go. Down to the fingers. In you go. In you go. In you go. Okay, So I've got that going all the way down, and I'm just going to needle felt that a bit. Again, be careful of your hands. I must get myself one from Spotlight. There is a holder that you can get to hold what you're felting, and that way you can avoid, injuries. So I might invest in one of those, especially because there's a lot of stuffing with these little mice. Just be very clear about the one you're doing. Okay, so you know where it's going. It's pushing down, it's compressing all of that fluff, and you're going down. Okay. Down. Okay, that's still not down there. See, his hand is very, so I'm just going to push it down further. Sometimes if your tool doesn't work, try something else. We've got a very gentle rain happening today. The plants are loving it. Oops. So we've got little hands. I've got a beautiful new mat. Have you noticed my new mat that I'm using? It's purple. It's really, really good. And so I changed the grey background that I had, and I use this. So it's come from Birch, and thank you to my friend Pam who got it for me. So you can see that it's all gone in. Okay, so I'm going to now finish off. Where am I? I'm on this side. Okay. Don't know what that is. But I don't like it. It ain't supposed to be there, so it's gone. Okay. I'm back to finish off this little arm. I think the mouse is getting a little bit excited. I've joined this music company. What's it called? Expedian, something like that. But I have to figure out how to put the music on. I don't know how. I'll figure it out though. I'll do a YouTube How do I put it on? How do I put music onto my video? So where there's a will, there's a way. How many times have I said that today? Quite a few times, I think. I was watching this video of this, and I forgot to take her name, and she was doing some slow stitching, and my goodness, it was absolutely stunning. And she had done a scroll, but it was in the scroll, and the scroll was probably only about that wide, right? And but it was very, very long, and you just roll it, and but it was all these trees, and she'd used different types of fabric, scraps of fabric, and different embroidery stitches, and I was absolutely stunned with her. So what she had done was she had merged, it was like a scenery, a beautiful scenery, and there was trees, and there was a river, and there was mountains in the background, and there was birds, and there was a rabbit. And then she decided, she said she didn't like doing little houses, but she thought it needed a house. So then she put in a house, and then she put in another house, and it's absolutely stunning. I'll go back tonight and I'll have a look, and I'll see, and I'll put the name of the video down if anyone is interested in slow stitching. So that's the little hand. Okay, so remembering this is the part that goes up at the neck, and this is his little hand. Okay, so that will go up there as well. And then finally we've got his last hand, making sure you put them together. Yeah, I really like doing felt work, and I know I purchased this pattern. I don't know where I put it. And it was a lovely pattern. It was all felt. Oh, I'm dropping everything. It was all felt work, and I was very impressed with it. So I decided to explore it and see what I could come up with. Well, I can't wait to get my hands into it. I'm leaving it for, it was called Tiny Town. No, I must have put it away somewhere. Somewhere safe. It's in that safe place. So I'll show you at the next video what I'm doing. It's called Tiny Town, and it's all these wee little houses. One, you know, there's a row of them, and then there's ones behind, and there's some tall. There's one has its clothing line coming out the window, and all that sort of stuff. I might get away with this. And yeah, so I had to buy it. It was just a PDF download, so it wasn't, it didn't break the bank. Now, what did I do? I started on this end, hid the knot, and went around the hand end. So I'll just raise you up a bit. Who's that sang that song, You Raise Me Up? Is that Boyzone or one of those boy groups? Okay. Oh, don't you hate that? I mean, come on. We're busy doing projects. You don't want to be dropping your thread every time. Not on. Waste of time. Okay, back to it. I'm doing another Bucilla, and I can't say anything about it because it's for a family member, and when they see the video, I'm going to do 2 videos of me doing the this Bucilla, because it's a very rare Bucilla, and I had started it in 2016. A very dear friend of mine bought it for me as a gift when I came out of hospital following breast cancer, and yeah, so it's a lovely a lovely Bucilla, but I can't unfortunately show you because the person lives in this house, and if he happens to look at the video, he will know. And I want it to be a surprise for him. But so in the new year, I'll put up some more videos of those that I had to hide. So I went up a little bit further because I had started very low, and it was going to be too awkward. So I'll try it now. Sometimes if you roll the ball up, it can fit in easier. I haven't got those scraggly ends. Get in there. Get in, get in. My goodness, this video has been an hour. I didn't realize that. I'm so sorry. I will finish it up really quickly, and I'll do another one to finish this off while I'm doing it. I think some people, well, my opinion is some people will look at it and say, oh gosh, an hour. I don't want to listen to her for an hour. Okay, so what I'll do is I will finish that, and then I will start another video where it'll be a little bit shorter. Okay, I'll speak to you all in about 10 minutes. Bye.